Saddle River, New Jersey. 5:47 a.m. on June 5th. A quiet suburban morning turned into a federal crime scene when black SUVs rolled up to 1188 Hidden Ridge Drive, the registered residence of Justin Combs, eldest son of music icon Sean Diddy Combs. Within minutes, the mansion was sealed. The local police stood watch on the perimeter, but only the FBI knew what they were really looking for. The raid wasn't random. It was the result of 3 weeks of covert surveillance and an anonymous tip. That tip spoke of a room, one that didn't appear on any blueprints, a place where something was rotting inside. What the task force found shattered even their darkest expectations. On the east end of the mansion's second floor, behind a luxurious master bedroom, a solid wooden wall rang hollow under a forensic tap. No hinges, no entry, just wall. But as panels were pried away, the truth began to breathe through the cracks. Behind the facade lay a hidden room, just 8 square meters, windowless, ventless, and 4 degrees hotter than the rest of the house. There was no lighting, no furniture, no signs of life. But what they did find on the floor were 3 human bodies, laid out in a perfect row. The corpses were in an advanced state of decomposition, nearly mummified. Skin leathery, bones exposed, eyes wide open, each one wrapped in black cloth, identical and unmarked. There were no visible injuries, no blood, no defensive wounds, no IDs, no personal belongings. According to forensic experts on site, the bodies had been there for at least 6 months. And then they found the notebook, stuffed between the bed frame and the wall, partially burned, water damaged. Only one legible sentence remained on a single page. If they find this, everything ends. The room had no surveillance cameras. The security system for that part of the house had been manually disconnected weeks before the presumed time of death. This wasn't a mistake. It was intentional, and the questions started piling up faster than the evidence. Who were these people? Why was this room never documented? Why was it hidden so precisely? And more chillingly, why now? Because this wasn't just an ordinary FBI raid. It happened at the exact same time as Diddy's ongoing legal saga began to escalate nationwide. The agents sealed the room and sent a Level 3 classified alert to Washington. This wasn't just homicide. It was the start of something far darker. The kind of dark that doesn't stay locked behind walls forever. There's a difference between a secret and something meant never to be found, and the room behind the wall was clearly the latter. Roughly 8 square meters, constructed with no permits, invisible in all architectural blueprints. It wasn't just hidden, it was erased, designed with cold intention. The walls weren't drywall. They were layered with industrial-grade soundproofing, multiple inches thick, wrapped in fiberglass and foam, the same kind used in underground bunkers. There were no light fixtures, no outlets, no ventilation. The only clue to how the room was maintained was a narrow seam along the baseboard, possibly connected to a discreet air duct hidden deep within the structure. But what shocked investigators more was the heat. It was noticeably warmer than the rest of the mansion. No airflow, no movement, just stagnant, humid air, the kind of climate that speeds up decomposition. On the floor, 3 bodies, lying flat, arms at their sides, each one covered with an identical piece of black silk cloth, patternless, heavy, and slightly damp. No blood splatter, no markings, no insect activity, which struck the forensics team as particularly strange. The team began a preliminary sweep, soil samples, trace chemical tests. Everything pointed to meticulous control. Whoever used this room understood forensic science and went to great lengths to suppress it. And then came the odor. One of the agents noted it wasn't just the expected stench of decomposition. There was something else, a chemical tang, like ammonia and sulfur mixed. Forensics confirmed the air had trace compounds used in industrial embalming. not strong enough to preserve, but enough to slow decay and mask natural odors. But perhaps the most chilling discovery was on the walls themselves. When blacklight scanners were brought in, faint handprints appeared, small, probably female, scattered, overlapping, almost like someone had clawed the walls in total darkness. And in the upper corner of the far wall, behind a loose panel, investigators uncovered a small square cavity. Inside, a partially melted GoPro camera, its memory card still intact but scorched. The digital team would later extract damaged files from it, but not before finding something else. Wedged underneath the same panel, folded neatly, was a single piece of paper. Only 3 words were legible. They watched everything. It wasn't signed. It had no DNA, but it matched the notebook from earlier in paper stock, burn pattern, and ink type. It was likely written by the same hand. At that moment, agents realized this wasn't just a kill room. It was a chamber of control, an engineered environment designed for something more than violence, designed to document, to contain, and possibly to broadcast. No witnesses, no warnings, just silence, structure, and symbols. And every second spent inside raised one more impossible question. Who built this? And how long had it operated right beneath their noses? In a final sweep of the chamber, investigators noticed the floor wasn't solid concrete, but a custom resin poured atop soundproofing foam. It muted every footstep. Whoever built it intended complete isolation. This wasn't just secrecy, it was sensory erasure. The deeper they dug into the hidden room, the clearer it became. This wasn't just a burial site. It was a repository. And the key to unlocking it came in the form of a small, unmarked black hard drive. It was found beneath a removable plank in the floor, tucked into a cavity that appeared custom carved. No brand, no serial number, no external markings, just a faint scuff on one side, as if it had been yanked out of another device. FBI digital forensics experts began the extraction on site. The hard drive didn't use standard encryption protocols. Instead, it was encoded with military-grade fragmentation, the kind used in covert ops. It took them nearly 2 hours to bypass the first layer. What they found would reframe the entire case. There were 47 video files. 46 of them were corrupted, damaged either by heat or manual interference. But one, file 0029, was mostly intact. It was 12 minutes long, a single camera angle, dim lighting. A young girl sat against a wall, her hands bound, head slumped forward. She never moved. The timestamp in the lower corner read February 14th, 002 hours, exactly when Justin Combs was supposedly checked in at a hotel across the country. No face appeared on screen, but a man's voice, calm, rehearsed, was heard several times instructing the girl to sing. She never responded. The voice repeated, then silence. The digital team froze when they ran the audio through their voice analysis software, an 87% match to a previous public recording, an Instagram live stream hosted by Justin Combs in January 2024. But that wasn't the only clue linking the scene back to him. On the dusty floor, barely visible, was a footprint. Investigators used an enhanced imaging scan and matched the pattern to a Nike Air Force One, US size 10. 5. The same model Justin had posted online, down to a distinctive scuff on the left heel. The archived Instagram post from December showed him wearing them 2 months before the presumed date of the incident. Then came the calendar. Wedged into a crack in the wall behind the mattress was a scorched calendar page. Written in red ink were just 4 words: Feb 14 002. Don't forget. Right below that, agents found a Ziploc bag containing high-strength sleeping pills and 2 syringes, both with dried blood at the tips. The implications were staggering. Not only was the evidence pointing toward premeditated activity, But the OID timeline placed Combs at the center of an event that defied every public narrative. As the files were secured and backed up to a federal system, agents began asking a darker question. What if the girl in the video wasn't the first? And what if she wasn't the last? Later analysis would confirm that the syringes contained traces of etomidate, a fast-acting sedative rarely used outside of surgical settings. The combination with the sleeping pills suggested deliberate incapacitation, not overdose. As the digital evidence mounted, the investigation took an unexpected turn, one that veered far from New Jersey and into the heart of Miami's financial and legal circles. Less than 24 hours after the FBI cracked open the hard drive, an encrypted internal directive was issued from the U.S. Attorney's Office in Miami. All forensic data, videos, images, even handwritten notes, were ordered to be transferred from the New Jersey field office to a secure federal data vault in Florida. Why Miami? At first, no one knew, but then a new name surfaced: Raymond Diaz. A well-known Miami-based investor and political lobbyist, Diaz had deep ties to multiple record labels and had previously funded ventures linked to Diddy's business empire. Internal documents showed that Diaz was also a minority stakeholder in an offshore entity that had helped finance a project tied to Justin Combs back in 2017. But that wasn't the smoking gun. A leak from the FBI's Manhattan office revealed that voice analysis from the video matched an archived, classified audio file stored in a Miami database, one flagged years ago in connection with an unrelated trafficking case. The voice, calm, instructive, was believed to be the same one heard instructing the girl in video file 0029. The next clue came not from law enforcement, but from an unexpected source: a private airline operator. A leaked memo showed a last-minute flight manifest listing one J. Combs on a private jet headed for St. Kitts. The flight was encrypted. The security clearance marked Tier 3, and the departure timestamp matched the night following the FBI raid. But then came the footage. Surveillance video from Miami International Airport leaked online, showing a man in a black cap and hoodie briskly walking through a private terminal. The resemblance to Justin Combs was unmistakable. No luggage, no companions, no formal check-in. He was on the move, and it looked like he wasn't coming back. Federal agents attempted to locate him through official hotel logs and travel records, but all trails went cold after the private flight took off. The gag order issued by a Florida judge barred investigators from naming the man publicly, citing ongoing risks to procedural integrity. Even more bizarre was the fact that a former NFL bodyguard, known to have once worked with Justin on philanthropic projects, was identified in a separate clip wearing a similar hoodie and facial structure. His legal team submitted a motion to suppress all references to his identity, calling the footage misleading. Meanwhile, the Department of Justice escalated the classification level of the case. What began as a homicide inquiry was now being rebranded organized crime, unlawful detainment, and suspected serial abuse. From New Jersey bedrooms to Miami courtrooms, the pieces were falling into place. But one question loomed larger than the rest. If Combs fled before the story broke, what did he already know? And more importantly, who else knew it with him? While the media speculated and officials remained silent, one man vanished without a trace: Daniel Royce, the former maintenance worker who had unknowingly triggered the entire investigation. Royce had once worked on the property as a subcontractor. He was the first to report strange noises and flickering lights near the second-floor wall months before the raid. He was also the only civilian to ever mention a smell so foul he once vomited in the hallway. His complaints had been brushed off by supervisors, dismissed as exaggerations. But that all changed after the FBI confirmed his descriptions were dead accurate. On the evening of June 6th, less than 48 hours after the hidden room was uncovered, Royce disappeared. Surveillance footage from a gas station near the Garden State Parkway showed him stepping into a silver Range Rover with no front, plate and tinted windows. He was never seen again. His phone last pinged 2 miles from the FBI Newark field office. Then it went dark. His family reported him missing later that night. What followed was stranger than fiction. That same morning, Royce's personal email account sent out 3 messages to his sister, his lawyer, and an unknown third address. Only the subject line showed up on record. If they erase me, find this. The attachment? Locked, encrypted. And within minutes, the account was remotely wiped from an IP address in Coral Gables, Florida. Investigators attempted to trace the signal but were stonewalled. The IP led to a dead end, a private server farm owned by a shell company linked to Raymond Diaz. And the coincidences didn't stop there. Internal sources confirmed that just hours after Royce vanished, the FBI reassigned the lead investigator on the case, a seasoned profiler who had pushed for a second review of the video footage. No public explanation, no replacement named, just removed. By noon, all agents involved in the second-floor sweep were made to sign an enhanced federal-level non-disclosure agreement. Such protocols are rare and usually reserved for cases involving state secrets or national defense. Even more chilling was what Royce had left behind. In a forgotten work locker at a nearby construction site, a co-worker found a flash drive marked simply "Exit." The contents are still being reviewed, but one file was playable, a shaky recording of Royce speaking into his phone. "If you're watching this, I didn't run. I was taken. And they knew I saw the room. They knew I talked." The recording ends with a loud knock and the phone falling to the floor. There's no footage after that, no audio, just black screen. As law enforcement scrambled to catch up, the truth became undeniable. The witness wasn't just missing, he was silenced. And in that silence, a dangerous pattern was beginning to emerge. One by one, the people closest to the truth were disappearing. Not because they were wrong, but because they were right. The final piece, at least for now, didn't come from evidence bags or encrypted files. It came from a single moment in the surviving footage, one that hadn't been noticed on first viewing. In the 12th minute of video file 0-29, the bound girl, silent for the entire clip, suddenly lifted her head. Her eyes, wide and glassy, locked directly onto the camera. And without speaking a sound, she mouthed a name. 3 times. Lip-reading software confirmed it. Lena. The word meant nothing at first. No Lena had been reported missing in the state database. No Lena appeared on the mansion's guest logs or in known contacts of Justin Combs, until an analyst noticed something buried in the metadata of a leaked internal email from the Miami Police Department. The subject line read, "Do not call Lena." The sender, a senior coordinator on loan from Homeland Security. The message contained a redacted contact list. 7 names, 6 blacked out, 1 remaining. Lena R. status, unknown. Last contact, February 14th, 02. That date again. The same one from the calendar page. The same one burned into the video's timestamp. The exact hour the girl in the clip was filmed. Now the lip read meant everything. If Lena R. was real, then the girl in the video remembered her. Maybe even trusted her. Which begged the question, who was she? A survivor? A former victim? An insider who tried to blow the whistle? The questions exploded faster than answers. And then, another anomaly. Right after analysts matched the lip movement, the National Missing Persons Database went offline for 43 minutes. Every entry from the eastern seaboard temporarily inaccessible. Technical error? Coincidence? Or something more calculated? Investigators noted another strange synchronicity. The same name, Lena, had once appeared in an internal Bad Boy Records project folder labeled D9 Lena, scratch vocals. That project never released. Its files were deleted. But a backup was found on the same red USB stick recovered from Corey Blanch's truck, hours before he too vanished. One whispered name, 3 bodies, a vanished witness, a data wipe, a deleted music project, and now a victim who remembered everything, even in silence. Because that's the thing about victims, they don't forget. And this one, against all odds, found a way to speak. Even when they took her voice. Who was Lena? What did she see? And most chilling of all, where is she now? The answers to those questions could crack open the entire operation, but only if someone listens. Because when systems crash, footage burns, and records vanish. Sometimes the only truth left is the one whispered without sound. And in this case, her lips moved first. Now the world just needs to follow them. Authorities have refused to confirm whether Lena R. is now part of a protected witness program or something far more secretive. But one thing is clear. Whoever she is, she still matters to someone powerful. 6 sections, 15 minutes, a locked room, a missing witness, a name whispered in silence, and a web of connections that stretch from suburban basements to high-rise offices in Miami. But here's what makes this story different. This isn't just about one man, or one mansion, or even 3 bodies found behind a wall. It's about a system, a structure so carefully constructed, so silently maintained, that it didn't just allow this to happen. It made it disappear. And now the cracks are showing. The hard drive wasn't just a piece of evidence. It was a blueprint. The voice wasn't just a coincidence, it was a fingerprint. The girl wasn't just a victim, she was a witness who refused to be forgotten. Even in silence, the truth finds a way to speak. Daniel Royce, Corey Blanch, Lena R. Each one left a trail behind. And together they sketch a picture that no one in power wants the public to see. Not just abuse, not just corruption, but control. The kind of control that builds walls with no doors, that erases names from federal systems, that blacklists witnesses and buries footage, and when exposed, scrambles to rewrite the narrative before it spreads. Because the moment the public asks, who's next, they risk discovering the real question is, who's behind? This story, The Black Room, is just the beginning. More data is being decrypted, more names are emerging, and more pieces of this silent empire are cracking under pressure. We are still tracing the second video, the one the FBI won't release. We are still matching voices, still uncovering links between the entertainment industry, private security firms, and offshore accounts tied to names the media dare not say out loud. You've heard the rumors, you've seen the headlines, now you've seen the evidence. And this is only part 1. So here's what comes next. Part 2. The gag order and the man from Miami. A deeper look at the private security firms, the federal directives, and the hidden hands behind the scenes. Because when systems fall silent, we don't. If you believe this isn't fiction, if you think these stories deserve daylight, then help break the silence. Like, share, subscribe. And remember, the room may have been hidden, but the truth never was. We'll be diving into leaked affidavits, non-disclosure enforcement letters, and reviewing motion-sealed surveillance that may contain even more disturbing footage. This investigation isn't stopping here, and neither should the conversation. To the journalists digging, the insiders leaking, the people watching, thank you. Every message, every share, every name brought forward helps make this system just a little less invisible, because the truth can be buried, but not forever. And if you're still here, still watching, know this: the only way to end a silence this powerful is to outnumber it, with facts, with voices, with relentless light.